Hey guys, it's Blake with Y2K, and this is part 2 of my 911 videos. We've got the 911 991.2 Carrera 4S now, compared to the base Carrera I just reviewed. If you want to check that out, I'll put a card right here. Yeah, I just wanted to see the difference between the base model engine and the bigger turbo motor. They're both 3 liters, but this one has larger turbochargers. So I wanted to see the difference. A lot of people have been praising the base Carrera turbo motor, you know, just for the response and all that it has, and it feels more naturally aspirated. So I'm just curious to see the difference. This car is 4-wheel drive, and it does have rear axle steering and PDCC. So I'm expecting a completely different driving experience, and we'll see which one I prefer. Hey guys, we're in the car. Like I said, the big differences between this and the car I just drove, besides the engine, which is a big difference, is the seats are the sport seats, 18-way adjustable, which are really nice. It has the rear axle steer, which is really cool because when you're driving under 30, it actually, the back wheels turn the opposite of the front, and then after 30, I believe they turn the same way. So it shortens the wheelbase at shorter speeds and elongates it at higher speeds. So that's a neat option to have. It's also got front axle lift, which on a 4S, I don't know if it's necessary. GT3s are a lot lower, and my car had to have that when I used to have one. So, but that is a nice thing to have for certain areas. And it's got the same GT steering wheel. It's got sport design exterior mirrors, which are pretty nice. A little different style on that. Sport chrono, of course. It does not have sport exhaust. It does have PDCC, which is a really trick suspension setup. It keeps it really flat in the turns. So a little bit more options on this one than before. So let's take her on a drive and see how it compares to the base 911. And we're off. Gonna go ahead and put it in Sport Plus, manual. It's definitely faster than the base, but it doesn't feel like monumentally faster. Yeah, that was real fast. Shifted into second, had too much wheel spin, which is interesting because it's 4-wheel drive. That was a lot of fun. All right. Yeah, it has more turbo lag for sure. Engine tones, neither of them have sport exhaust. Sounds about the same. I think I can hear the turbos a little bit more. Obviously both PDKs, so that would be equal compared to the base model. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have as much response. It's very interesting. So what people were saying was correct. Bigger turbos, more power, but a little less throttle response. Feels more like a true 911 turbo would feel than, say, you know, a normally aspirated Carrera, like a 997 would have felt. Got a nice turn here. And the 4-wheel drive, can definitely, the steering feels heavier. The whole car feels heavier. This car is wider. It's a wider track since it's the Carrera 4S or even the Carrera 4. They both have the same, you know, wider body than the standard Carrera. Now in the 992 that we're going to review in a couple weeks, they actually all have the same width. For the first time ever, Porsche has deleted the narrow body. It's nice for everyone to have wide body, I suppose, but I kind of like it when there's a little bit of a variation. Still sounds good. The PDCC, it's definitely stiffer. I can feel that it's really trying to flatten everything out in the corners. I kind of prefer the compliance of the normal suspension, but I'm sure on a track setting this would probably be the way to go. I've heard some people like PDCC and some people don't. You know, I couldn't really say one way or the other right now in this setting which one I prefer. I do prefer the ride though, so I wonder if I turn it off. Yeah, the normal ride is definitely better. This S suspension, I'm thinking obviously is a little bit stiffer than the base. Throw beautiful day out here to be driving Porsches. Yeah, definitely feels like there's more lag. Ooh, but that top end power, man, that definitely feels quick now. You have to properly rev it all the way out. It's a tough call. A little more response, but a little less power, or you know, some bigger turbos and some more top end power, but less response on the low end. You know, I don't know. That's a tough decision. I definitely can see the appeal of the base motor in that regard, that people like that kind of delicate NA feel. But I can't ignore the power on this thing. I do prefer, for sure, the steering feel on the two-wheel drive. I'm assuming this four-wheel drive obviously takes a little bit out of the steering feel. Feels like it pushes a little more understeer. But if you know, if you live up in the Northeast or somewhere where it snows and stuff, then you would obviously want the four. These sport seats are really nice. I prefer these over the base seats for sure. I don't know why more people don't spec sport seats. It seems like a lot of the 911s I see are the standard seat. And if you're getting a sports car, you would think you would want the extra shoulder bolstering here, which is just a really nice option. And when I was younger, I got to spec 911s for my father, we always would put the sport seats on the checklist, and we would delete every other option pretty much except for stereo and air conditioning. Saves you a lot of money. When you build these Porsches, you can build them however you want. So I highly recommend, if you are patient enough, to build one. And do a low option car, but with all the drivetrain and stuff you want. All the, you know, suspension options and everything. Gonna put it in normal mode and just see how it feels. I'm sure it's gonna feel just like the base model. Take PDCC off. Yeah, this car, the 4 feels significantly heavier than the base S, and it is heavier. I think it's about probably like 150 pounds heavier with the all-wheel drive system. This car also, you know, like I said, is gonna have heavier steering because it's 4-wheel drive, and it's just not quite as nimble. It could be a little more capable in certain, obviously, in, you know, snow or rain, but for me in Florida, I think it's definitely going to be the 2-wheel drive. And you know, this engine is definitely more powerful, and that's a tough question as well. Do you want more power, or do you want more response? I think a manual base 991.2 could be maybe the perfect normal 911. Let's say the rear wheel steer, I think I would definitely get that option. I had it in my GT3, and the turning radius is incredible, especially in like tighter turns, and the way it elongates the wheelbase on the sweepers at higher speeds is really nice. So, you know, everything from everyday usability to handling, I think the rear wheel steering is a great option to tick. I think it's a couple grand. I can look right here and see. Let's see how much rear wheel steering is. $2,090. I definitely would recommend that. I think it's a good option to have. Even though this car is 4-wheel drive, so the steering and stuff feels heavier, the car itself is heavier, I'm sure a 2-wheel drive car with a rear wheel steer would be great, because I already know that, because I had a GT3. So definitely get the rear wheel steer. Gotta love how fast this transmission shifts. Sounds so good. When these PDKs crack the gears off, it makes a very mechanical like noise, and it's very satisfying. Of course, the brakes on this car are going to be phenomenal. Porsche has the best brakes. and it's great for U-turns, which we're about to find out. Look at that. Look how tight that is. It's fantastic. That does not get old. See how it takes this bump. Pretty big bump right here. Not bad. Sweet sounding motor. Car's a lot of fun. I didn't want to do too long a review on this because I already kind of went into detail with the 991 about some features and stuff. Main differences are for the 991.2 obviously were the turbos, but I wanted to see the difference between the base engine and this S motor with the bigger turbos. The response is a lot better on the base model. It feels more NA, more like a Carrera. This has a lot more top end power, and you know, when the turbos do spool up, it's a really fast car. I guess it comes down to you. Are you a power guy or are you more of a finesse kind of momentum guy? I think for me, I would probably take a base over a S at this point because I just don't see the need in the extra power. I hope you guys enjoyed this little review today. The 4S is an amazing car. If you need an all-weather car that is just fast, I mean, this is a great car to have. So if you like what you saw here today on the channel, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.